All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. Today we got a doozy for you. We're going to have an open mic night tonight. Talk about a couple things, some NFL, some college, whatever the hell's on our mind. We're going to talk about it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do some introductions.
All right. Well, so I am an especially angry Joey tonight. Just because my fantasy team is actually getting into the playoffs, and God help me if I don't win this motherfucker. But anyway, I am very angry Joey.
The hater with facts is on tilt tonight. So prepare yourselves, buckle up. It's gonna be a hell of a ride, baby.
And me, I'm Mr. Raider. I got some shit to say about Notre Dame, but I can hardly wait. So without further ado, fellas, let's jump on in it. Who wants to get in the water first?
I will. We'll start with the big fish in the big pond right now. The college football playoff bracket is set, and we have the teams that get a bye is the number 1 Indiana Hoosiers, the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes, number 3 Georgia Bulldogs, and the number 4 Texas Tech Raiders. They will be chilling while they watch everybody else of the field, which consists of Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami, Tulane, and James Madison. Those are your 12 teams for the second rendition of the college football playoff. Oh my God.
Can I interrupt for a second? I
Sure.
got two confessions to make about this. Number one, I got to apologize to all the Indiana fans. That team looked really good playing Ohio State. I mean, really good. I wasn't sold on them throughout the year, and I said it. I was like, just wait. They're going to get smashed by Ohio State. I think they have a legit chance, man, to make it to the title game. I really do. And the other thing is, I want to say I love the fact that Tulane and James Madison got an invitation. Because
Really?
yeah, for those small schools, man, think about it. Like you got the Midwest. What conference are they from? Is it the
Uh, Tulane is, I think American, I think.
Yeah, man. Because
Um,
long story short, look, it's an incentive for these small conferences to be able to get a chance to play. In the playoff. So I like that. I like that there's two spots for them, and if they go and expand it, which they're probably going to do to 16. I think it's a good opportunity for a small university, man, like James Madison. They had a really good year, but their opponent level obviously isn't to the level of the Big Ten or the ACC. But give them a shot, and I like it. I like it.
well, I'll say this. Well, to answer your first question, Tulane is in the American Conference, and James Madison is in the Sun Belt. So
Yeah, there you go.
your
See?
yeah, so your group of five is well represented here. But I will say, um, my first my first complaint is this is exactly what I feared. Um, when they announced that they were going to expand the playoff in the first place, I thought, and I still stand by, it should have been just expanded to 8 teams. And this is the very reason why. Because you have some teams that shouldn't be in at all. You have some teams that should have been punished but weren't. And then you have some that were and they shouldn't have. So this is all, the NCAA is doing. They screwed up yet again. They thought they were going to be slick and they failed. And now this is the product that you're going to have. So now you have Oregon. You have Oregon going up against James Madison. So yes, I agree. For the little guy, yes, they get their chance to shine, but it's going on a road to a hostile environment they probably haven't seen in a very long time or ever. And I think that the spreads for both those games I think are at least 14 plus for both. So I'll give Tulane a fighting chance only because of the circumstances with Ole Miss, but that's about it. And I think if you had just kept it with 18s, you wouldn't have to worry about all this nonsense. But
I disagree.
that's fine. That's fine. We continue on that. But I will say that the elephant in the room, of course, is that of Notre Dame. and they were left out. They were upset, and I will say I will agree with 15% of it by saying, what was the point of keeping them in the top 10 this whole entire time if all you're going to do was just shut them out later at the end? So that's the only thing that I will agree with the anger that's coming out of South Bend right now. That's the only thing I agree with. But I will leave the rest to our resident Notre Dame fan, Angry Joy. Go ahead, bro.
So to be fair, I I tend to agree with you there, Hater. Simply because Notre Dame, they didn't do themselves any help. First of all, their strength of schedule sucked. I mean, and the two games that they did lose, they lost by a total combined point average of 4 points. They lost to Miami. How do you not make an argument for Miami? I'm sorry. They beat them. I mean, yes, it was week one of the of the regular season, but past that, then they had A&M that they lost by 1 point. Now, if they would have actually won any one of those games, then we're talking a totally different thing. But then listen to this. Then they actually have Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, Trojans, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. Who the are they? They did not actually play any high class talent. I'm sorry. I mean, Notre Dame, they can be as pissed off as they want, but they did not prove their point. And then, to top it off, and they actually went out and, just a Pro Bowl, or excuse me, a bowl appearance. That doesn't bode well, for them. It comes across as petulant and crybaby bullshit. If they want to get respect, they need to join a fucking conference. That's my point.
Well, 23 other of Notre Dame's teams are in the ACC. The football team is the only one that's not. All the rest of their sports are. All the rest of their sports are in the ACC. They are an ACC member, except for their football team.
Understand. And once again, I don't have any kind of logical argument for it, but I think they're robbing themselves. I think that, them being independent this year bit them on the ass.
Yeah, and it's going to in the future as well.
Yeah. Well, except for next year, because there was actually a clause that says that if they actually finish in the top 12, they will make the playoffs in 2026. Now, but what kind of bullshit is that? That's preferential treatment. I'm sorry, I mean, as much as I love my Irish, how are they guaranteed a spot in the playoffs if they finish in the top 12? No other team is actually given that that opportunity.
No, they are not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I have a lot to add on that, but I will say that.
So, I mean, I know that a lot of people are probably expecting me to come and try to support Notre Dame on this one, but I'm sorry. I don't know if they really have much of a leg to stand on. I mean, Miami, what was I don't know. Let me see. They played. They didn't have much of a better, but they had the Gators. They had Florida State. They had Florida State, Louisville, Stanford, SMU. So they actually had a little bit better of a. We're going to find out what they're all about when they actually play the Aggies this coming week.
Yep.
But I don't know if they had much of a better schedule than Notre Dame did. But the fact of the matter is that Miami beat Notre Dame. I don't give a shit whether it was week one of the regular season or not. I mean, facts are facts. Sorry.
Yeah.
I hate it. I mean, I hate the fact that, my Irish are not in the playoffs, but I don't know how you can make an argument otherwise. I'm just saying.
That's a good take.
That the college football community, they're a joke. NCAA is not running things anymore. It is
absolutely.
It is ESPN. It is
yeah.
clown show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, they staked their claim of who, who runs things and stuff, and stuff like that. But I will find it I find it amazing that the other side of this that no one is talking about is Alabama. If I'm not mistaken, Alabama was going into the last week of the season and going to the conference championship. They were number 10, if I'm not mistaken. They lost handily by Georgia, and they moved up in the ranking.
Well, look at what happened to Vanderbilt, as Wu
Right.
Pig pointed out last week. How
They
they
did.
actually won handily, and they went down in the rankings.
Correct.
Who? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
And as much as I give, I give crap, to the SEC community as a whole, I am I'm confused by this line of movement and how it affected the SEC schools when all the propaganda the entire season was to try to get as many SEC teams in there as possible. And they had the perfect opportunity to do it, or at least maneuver some stuff around. I would have figured that, the whole Ole Miss situation would at least not, I thought that they would just knock them out, and then Texas and Vanderbilt get in. But nope, they didn't do that. But instead, you get two group of 5 teams in there. So I don't know if that helps or hurts the overall case for group of 5s going forward or not. I don't know.
Yeah. So just some weird stuff in college football. Just weird. I mean, and just to be fair, I'm not loving my Irish right now. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I think that they made some mistakes, I mean, and you can't lose those 2 first games and expect, an invitation to the playoffs. I'm just sorry. Especially if the one team that actually beats you out is the team that beat you in the regular season.
Right.
Well, it goes deeper than that. It really does. So, I got 2 main points on that. That was a good take, and I agree with 90% of everything you just said, Angry Joy. But my first point is let me just take on Notre Dame itself specifically. I have been saying this for years and years. Notre Dame is overvaluing itself. Notre Dame thought it was more important and way bigger than the ACC. And
Great.
their behavior on what's happening right now is showing that. And on top of that, ACC did them a solid during COVID. Remember, your Irish signed a 1-year deal, if you will, with the ACC to be part of that conference. If they wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have nobody to play. So the ACC came and did them a favor and looked out for them. And then when it comes to this playoff, you mean to tell me that the commissioner of the ACC is going to overlook its own member in Miami who beat you?
Yeah.
How's that the best interest of the ACC? It's not. And so the thing about it is, and I hate to say this, Notre Dame hasn't been fucking relevant in 40 years. I mean, as far as a national championship is concerned, right? You saw what happened when they made it to the chip.
Wait.
They got their ass whooped.
Now that I'm gonna cut you off there, because they did actually make the fucking championship.
Oh, hold on. I listened to your fucking
So they
diatribe for
are
about 5
actually
minutes,
relevant, dude.
and I didn't even say anything. So they made to the national. They have not won a national championship in 40 years. They made it to the title game. You're right, 2 years ago, and they got their ass handed to them. So at least they've made it, right? I'm with you on that. But however, the fact of the matter is that they have not been as relevant as the days of old. That's my point. The days of old, right? It used to be the Irish, and all that stuff. They were like huge. They were like the Alabama back then, right? So they thought they were way more important than the ACC. And the way that the AD has been acting because of that, I think the ACC commissioner, I forget his name, I think he did right by calling out your Notre Dame AD by calling him egregious, right? And it was. So that's my first point on that.
I saw that. It was the ACC that actually called it an egregious thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I think that Notre Dame does have a right to be pissed. Because I mean, to haters point, I mean, they actually were ranked higher throughout the entire last 10 weeks.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were. Yes, they were.
So and then I mean, just to have the carpet pulled from under you, that's a shitty move. That's the only thing that I actually really have a hang up with.
And I don't disagree with you, but they did say though that when it came time to pick the 12, that shit could change. They did say that. The committee did say that.
Yeah, but who actually made the change? Was it ESPN or was it
That's a good
NCAA?
question. That's a really good
That's a
question.
very
I
good
don't know.
question.
But if you're NBC, you don't want Notre Dame out, right? Because you have a
No,
freaking
no, because
contract with Notre Dame.
they're much bigger than fucking Madison. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. But here's the thing too though, Joey, like so Notre Dame, they don't share the proceeds at all. The rest
Right.
of the ACC teams do when they get invited to the bowl games. So Notre Dame wants to be able to not only get this $50 million a year from NBC, but they also want to pocket all the bowl money as well because they don't have to give it. They don't have to share it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what the hell's going on here? And the fact of the matter is in the future, this is going to get worse for Notre Dame if they do not join a conference. They need to join a conference.
I don't disagree, dude.
Because if they
that-
join, if they join,
I think that I've actually been on tape by saying that Notre Dame, they need to get into a conference, whether it be the big or the ACC, one of those two.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
get this: if they were in the ACC, it would have been them playing that ACC championship game, not Duke and BYU,
Virginia?
Virginia. Who?
I think it was
Either way,
Virginia. Yeah,
Either
but
way,
they would have been. They would have been in that.
yeah. Two lamos.
Yeah, yeah. They would have been in it, and then they would have got a bid. You guys would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that sucks, because there's some other blowback that's actually happening, because of this whole fiasco that's taking place. Now there's to actually talk about Marcus Freeman actually jumping ship and going
He
to the
might.
NFL. He might. The Giants and I just recently read that there's like at least 4 other NFL teams that are looking to make a play on him. And if that happens,
I can see why.
and if that happens, if Marcus Freeman, now Notre Dame, they're coming out here and basically saying, no, you're not going anywhere. We'll match and pay whatever the hell it is that you want. But if the culture is fucked up, I mean, what is he going to do? I mean, if you have a chance to actually go into the NFL, and what are they going to do if they actually lose Marcus Freeman? They're f***ed. I'm just saying.
Part of the question, Brian Kelly.
Right. Get the fuck out of here, you asshole.
I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit.
I don't know what Notre Dame does at that point. If they lose Marcus Freeman, they're in a free fall.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then the last point I want to make on this is that what about those kids, man, that practiced all year, that sacrificed, that stayed late, that watched film, that I think that they should be able to play a bowl game. Now, obviously, the ones that are going to be like top first round draft picks, maybe they want to sit out, sure. But for the rest of those kids, man, they got a once an opportunity to go to a bowl game. Like, how are you just not going to look out for them? I don't know. It's just it's
Well,
nasty.
I
and
thought
it
it was
sucks.
I thought it was a petulant move. I thought it was a
Yeah.
knee jerk, crybaby reaction.
Yeah.
I can't defend that, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, you're absolutely right, Raider. The it was it was childish, I thought.
Yeah, they
And
thought they
everybody
were
can read through the bullshit and know exactly why Notre Dame skipped on a bowl game. I mean, they know, everybody knows. It was a crybaby move.
Who if they had played if they decided to get into play the bowl game?
Well,
And
okay, so
you think they would have lost? Is that why?
the rumor was it was going to be BYU.
Oh, they would have smacked them.
Well, they
I
would have.
don't know. That'd have been a close game, in my opinion.
Are you serious?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I don't think it'd be a
Texas
blowout.
Texas Tech to take care of them the way they did. I see how Notre Dame couldn't. The way that defense was playing at that time,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't I don't
That's
know.
true. Maybe I'm just letting that Notre Dame hate get in my
You're
eyes.
Notre Dame, I mean, if you're that pissed off, then go in there and prove a point.
Mhm.
Yeah, smack them
right.
70-0.
Yeah, exactly. Run the fucking score up on them. I mean, just beat the absolute dog shit out of them. Show them, that you're pissed off instead of calling.
You
Not
you know
only
what that would
in the
do
meantime-
too? Angry
in the
Joey, that's a good
meantime, you
point.
actually fucking cost the college $4 million.
Yeah,
Come on, what
yeah.
the hell?
You know what it would do? It would also put the pressure back on the committee leaving Notre Dame out in the first place. Because think about it, if
Mhm.
Miami gets blown out, then the pressure's back on the commission, right?
Oh, good
So
point. Good point.
play
And
chess,
it's
not checkers.
So to be honest with you guys, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm really disappointed with my Irish. I mean, I thought they handled this thing in a very childish way. I mean, look at it from the X's and O standpoint. I mean, look at why you were eliminated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Miami, did they deserve to actually be in it more than Notre Dame? Clearly, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually did beat Notre Dame. They have the same exact schedule, or excuse me, they have the same strength of schedule. They have the tiebreaker was the win. I don't give a shit whether it happened in week 1 or not. It happened. So I mean, as the old saying goes, either cry about it or die mad.
Absolutely.
Mm. Yeah.
But I do have another question, but I'll wait. But Michigan Man, you got anything on that before I ask my question about the SEC?
Well, I have a little bit more on this, but I'll save it for a little bit later. But I will say, your AD, he did not help your case at all.
No.
Before, during, and after the result. He did not. But I will save that for I'll save that for a little bit later. So go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Raider.
So I I've changed my decision on this. So I think in the SEC, if you're playing in the bowl game, in this case, Alabama versus Georgia, and you happen to lose that game, I don't think you should be punished for playing in a conference championship game. I'm in agreement now. Before I was like, no, if you lost the fucking game, that should count. No, because first of all, you made it there, right? You're good enough to make it there. And if you don't, if you sit here and you hold that against teams, then most teams are not going to want to play that conference championship game. And people want to see these games, these rivalry games. So incentivize them saying, hey, participate in these bowl games because that stops teams from opting out. That stops teams from doing what Notre Dame and all that kind of stuff is doing, right? Because it's a conference championship game. So if you I don't know what the fix is, but all I'm saying is that if you don't penalize teams that lose those games, then you close the door on teams wanting to opt out of playing in those games.
Okay.
Am I making sense?
I partially agree. But I think it's dependent on how you perform in the game. Now, in Alabama's case, like they didn't show up. They didn't show up against Georgia. They got their ass whooped. Now, for me, if you're already a 3-loss team or your championship game gives you 3 losses, and you know what the scenario is going into the championship game, and you still don't show up, I think that's cause for you to be punished at that point. Now, if it's like, Indiana, Ohio State is a bad example because they were already, 1 and 2 and stuff like that. So that's a bad example. But in Alabama's case specifically, they were already on a bubble as it is. So you have to put in a good showing to make sure that the College Football Playoff Committee does not punish you. Now, them having the SC on their chest, that helps. But at the same time, you can't go out there and just wet the bed. And that's exactly what Alabama did. So,
yeah, but they made it though. They made it
right,
to the conference championship game.
I completely understand. But at the same time, now, if it was a question between Alabama, let's just say the question between Alabama, let's say if it was Alabama and Notre Dame, If it's Alabama and Notre Dame, yes, I will definitely lean. I would lean Alabama in that case because Notre Dame sitting at home chilling, they're actually playing. No problem with that. If it's, I guess like, well, now I'm thinking about it. Now it's like between Texas, Miami, Notre Dame, um, Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's probably the only case that I could probably possibly make to bump Alabama out and and put them in their place. Um, but
But that
but
wouldn't
something
work
has
because
to be
we're
said.
talking about conference championship games, though, right?
Yeah,
So an
yeah,
ACC team is not going to play the SEC in the SEC conference championship,
right.
right? Because part of
So
the bid is you win your conference, you get an automatic bid, the top five, right?
right. So how about how about pseudo like what the NBA is doing with this whole NBA Cup stuff? Why don't you set up like an invitation, I don't know, final week invitational or something like that, like neutral site for these teams that are they're in the rankings, they're eligible. Let's get them all together so they can play a game.
Mm. That sounds like expanding the playoffs, there, my friend.
I Yeah, it kind of does. It makes you feel icky, but but again, but again, this is where I'm saying it's too many teams to start with. This is why. This is why you shouldn't have as many teams as you do because you are allowing losing to still be rewarded. And that's my biggest issue. If you keep you know what I'm saying? If it's still four teams, you're not having this problem. If you lose in the conference championship, yeah, period, point blank. You
Yeah,
only four
I don't
teams,
know.
let it happen. You know what I mean?
But what about the small schools, man? The
What
playoff
about them?
back then was just geared towards the top tier blue blood schools. Come on,
I
man.
mean,
They all like that. What makes the NCAA men's basketball tournament so good? What makes it so
but
good?
but there's too many teams in there too.
But
68 teams? No. Come on, man.
sure,
Like,
sure,
yeah, you
man.
get your
But
upsets
you
every
and
now
I
and again,
both
but
know
still.
that there could be a sweetheart team that goes in there and can actually make it to the title game, right?
Sure.
That makes it
Sure.
exciting.
Sure.
In a college football playoff where it was four teams or eight, that wasn't really the case.
Yes, but my pushback would be the transfer portal changed everything. If your smaller schools now have a bigger chance than they ever have because of the transfer portal. If you're not,
Um,
you're a third stringer. If you're a third stringer on an SEC team, you're not getting any run. Now you can transfer to a James Madison and play. Indiana's a good example. When Signetti came in, he brought his dudes from I forgot what school he came from, but he brought his seniors from there, brought them to Indiana, and now look at them. So this is years in a row. So this makes it legit to me. Now the first year, yeah, I was skeptical just like you, but second year coming around, they going on the road and smacking people around and stuff like that. So it can be done. So uh, again, this is why the greed of the committee itself is causing these types of issues, and they're eating themselves alive because of it. And what makes it worse, what Notre Dame did this year, I think is going to be a detriment. A detriment that's going to have ripple effects all throughout the rest of college football going forward because we heard rumblings from like, when Nick Saban, I think it was like the second to last year that he was leaving, and they weren't in the CFP, but they were in a New Year's Six bowl, and there was rumblings that some of the players didn't want to play, right? But they still played. You know what I'm saying? Now when they took the next step, now you have a big time school saying, "Oh, well, we're not in the CFP, so we're not going to play." That's going to be a problem, and the NCAA is going to have to fix it.
yeah, yeah, it is gonna be a problem.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how what the fix is, but if you incentivize the conference championship games somehow, other than money, I mean, I think that could kind of make a strong argument for. And
Yeah,
then bowl games, right? Maybe you need to double the amount, or maybe like okay, so like you said with your little side, like maybe like the teams that aren't in there, there's a bowl game for them. If they win their bowl game, you throw them in the pool. Whoever's the highest ranked or whoever does best of those teams, one of them gets a place in the playoff or something like that.
yeah,
I don't know.
a play-in, almost like a play-in tournament,
Yeah,
kind of, sort of,
exactly,
yeah. Or
exactly.
maybe, you know what? how about a happy compromise, right? So you expanded 4 more slots, right? And of those 4, the 8 teams that are, you know what I'm saying, the next 8, those will
Yeah.
be your bowl games that are part of the play-in.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
I wonder why they haven't even approached that.
Because the NCAA schedule is already effed up as it is. That's why. Because you got coaches leaving all over the place. You got the transfer portal now that they cut off when you actually can jump in the portal. Like, they did that, but still, it's all amongst chaos between December, January, and February, and then you have spring ball in March. So that's not a lot of time to figure all that stuff out, especially if you're going to have coaches on the move.
Yeah. In your scenario, Notre Dame would definitely be playing.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
we transition to the elephant in the room?
Well, yeah. Is your boy Sharon Moore? Is he out of jail yet? Is that what you're
Nah, he ain't.
transitioning to?
Nah, he's still locked up, y'all.
What the
Woo!
hell?
Uh,
Rick, what the hell? What?
man,
You know,
man.
I don't know. I don't know why he's locked. I don't have any info, but I'm thinking he probably found that snitch and put some hands on him. That's probably what happened.
Well, I got the story. Wow. This is Bobby Petrino 2.0, dog. This is basically what happened. So, Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. God, no.
You got Notre Dame on the brain,
I
Angry
got
Joey.
Notre Dame on the brain. Michigan fired Jerome Moore, head coach of the football team. Fired him. Was it yesterday? Fired him up with cause because they investigated him and he had an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. Now the worst part about it is that that's not bad enough. Once he was informed that he was fired, he decided to go to said person's house and
Whose person's house?
the side piece. Just,
Oh, okay.
we love to use that term around here. So
And he married.
it's
So yeah, it is sad.
yes,
Side
he is
piece.
married. He is married with 4 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. He was married with 4 kids, and in the aftermath of that, he went to the side piece's house, and he was going to attempt to
Did you say
and
her?
yes. More it was looking more along the lines of a potential, like, side type thing. And don't worry, I'll edit this part out so we don't get demonetized or anything, even though we're not. Yeah. But anyway, YouTube is sensitive about that stuff. But either way, but yeah, he was going to attempt to do that. And a phone call was raised, and the police intervened, and that's why he's in jail right now. So, yeah, so the biggest thing about this, right? How did he get caught? You might ask. Well, he decided to raise the salary of the staffer by 52% this year.
Damn.
Wait. Say that again.
he decided to increase the salary of the side piece because she's on the team. He decided to increase her salary by 52%.
Man, she must be able to him off a tailpipe.
Look,
See there, Raider. That's where side pieces get you.
hey, look, you gotta keep them quiet somehow. And
Wait,
he
hold
figured out.
on. I don't have a side piece. If for my family who's listening, I don't. My side piece is a football team. A football team. Just want to be clear. My wife will kill me if she hears this and thinks that's something.
No, I'm just saying that one of your side pieces you this year, and the other one didn't.
Oh, wait! You can't say it like that, dude.
Oh, sorry. I'm married to a Latina. What are you doing?
Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, you
Uh,
know better.
I
You
got
know
my
better,
big-
Angry Joey.
I'm sorry. I got my big wooden spoon out here.
Are we friends? What the fuck?
See, See, you know what? That's that Notre Dame in you. That's what that is. You calm that down, dog.
Haven't
Come
you
on,
heard
man.
that Kevin Hart skit where your bullshit is my bullshit? My bullshit is your bullshit.
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't resist. I hear side piece and I think it's right away, man. I mean, I'm like, oh God.
Golly, dude. All right. For clarification for the
Anyway,
audience,
go
let's
on,
make this
go on
clear.
there.
The term side piece is only referred to people who have another sports team that they cheer for. And the most famous person of all of this is Mr. Rader, because even though he's named Mr. Rader, he does have a history of supporting, or at least did support, the Indianapolis Colts. There.
As
Now
a
that's a
side piece.
disclaimer for everybody. Now he no longer doesn't have the Colts as a side piece no more, but we like to tease him about it. So that's why we throw it up in there. But in this case, in this particular situation with Sharon Moore at University of Michigan, we're talking about an actual side piece that he tried to keep on the side, and he failed at it.
All right. So
Moment
thank
to
you.
say that I love my
Peter,
wife very
for,
much. And if you're listening, I love you, baby. You're my number one.
Yes, Mrs. Rader. Mrs. Rader is beloved on this show. We are real men here. We do not cheat. That's not what we do.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house. We are all for that. Okay.
Indeed.
But when it comes to sports, I can be a whore if I want.
That's correct. Sports whores is just fine. But real life, we're real life gentlemen here.
Did you say
Okay, speaking of
hard?
Yes.
That's a good one. Okay.
So Michigan doesn't have a coach right now. But Biff Poggi is going to be the interim coach as we play Texas in the Citrus Bowl this year. So everything's in a scramble mode. We don't know what the players are thinking. We finally get a 5-star quarterback, and who knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of things that are going on that's really effed up, and not just from Sharon Moore's point of view. The school, I'm not happy with them either of how they executed this. It's a lot of shady stuff that's going on, and let me be the first to say, Ward Emanuel, who is the AD at Michigan University, you need to go. There's been a lot of just miscreant behavior that's just been going on for too damn long, and is, as much as I'm happy that we had a national championship, but dang, did we literally sell our souls to do it? Like, damn, where's our integrity at? Where's our,
Yeah. Good.
This don't make no sense, man. We're
Blue
supposed
blood
to be holding
Michigan
up
man.
higher
Where
standards.
is it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, hey man, you accuse us of stuff, all right? Oh, we'll settle it on the field. But now we got this type of mess going on. I'm like, dog, we didn't take this too far. So let me be the first to say, I hope that this outcry will go out to the masses. Ward Emanuel, AD of University of Michigan, you need to pack your bags. You need to be fired with cause as well for lack of institutional control. You heard of that? You remember that? Yeah. You need to get that too. You need to go.
So,
Yeah, go
question.
ahead.
Do either of you
Mhm.
know, was this relationship, was it consensual? And was he the staffer's boss? Like, is she not an adult?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's an adult. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a mutual third party here.
Huh.
But you can't ignore the power dynamic as well, right? Being the head coach. So
Well,
he's been
giving her
head
that
coach for
50% increase in salary, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
if he kept on the same salary,
right. Or, it's called under the table if you're going to do these things. Not that I'm encouraging it. Not
what
encouraging
kind
it.
of under the table are we talking about? We talking about PG or?
No, we're not talking about that. But I mean, it's just outright stupidity. And let's say this too. Is from the 210 show, we believe in being wholesome and being good family man. And to the families involved in all of this, this is truly sad, and I feel sorry for the kids in this.
Yeah.
And Sharon Moore's wife, I feel bad for her as well.
And his student athletes, man, that he's supposed to be a
1%.
leader of young men. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. You're supposed to be an
They,
example. You're supposed to be setting an example of what good people are supposed to do, and you doing out here this nonsense.
and they probably
That's what I'm
looking at
saying.
him all side-eyed.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, and Michigan as a school, you don't catch any you don't catch the strays too, because if clearly if you had this investigation, that means you had the results for a minute and you waited till after signing day to actually execute this. Nah, you just as susceptible as this too. Because hey, who now I will say this. Um a couple episodes ago, uh, we were talking about the idea of Bobby Petrino actually becoming offensive coordinator for Michigan. Yeah, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Yeah,
That's a
but
real bad
that
look.
wouldn't be a good look. Hide your wives.
Yeah, yeah. Hide everybody. I'm like, nah, this is not gonna work.
Yeah. But
So
so I read that the HR investigated this and wasn't able to substantiate anything. That's one of the things that I read, but that was like what 2 days ago. So I don't know if it's changed since then or if they did, but
mm,
HR investigated already. No findings.
hmm, that's okay. I
You
guess.
know,
But
I'm just curious.
my
That's
my
all.
guess is the when I think that the other investigation, in the whole sign stealing thing, I think that may have played a role of this being revealed, because Jerome Moore he was very hesitant to give up his cell phone, and so this might have been the reason why he didn't want to give up his cell phone, but he was compelled. He had no choice. So this probably was the start of the downward fall here. I don't know, man, but
What a dummy.
yeah, yeah, big dummy.
Sorry, Andrew. Big you, big dummy. You
Yes,
sacrificed millions of dollars, your family. First of all,
yep,
your family, yourself,
mm,
your pride, your integrity, all for some
yes,
strange. Like, man,
yep,
come on.
yep. And you were like second in command for the longest time while Jim Harbaugh was around, and you waited all this time to actually be promoted to be the head coach at University of Michigan. They passed the
Fir-
torch to you, and
First
you do
African
this here.
American, first African American head coach at Michigan.
Yep, yep.
Man,
Or at least the
that
football
hurts
team,
my.
anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, for football team. I'm sorry. Yeah, that
That's
hurt.
pretty, man. I haven't heard any of that, but my God, that's horrible. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I just can't even begin to imagine doing anything like that. It's just, man, that's awful.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Um. So, as far as who potential replacements, things of that nature, they're talking about like maybe
The bore.
Kalen DeBoer, Jed Fish at Washington, um, Lincoln Riley. I was like, wait, what?
Well, Lincoln Riley
Oh,
ain't leaving USC for Michigan. He's not doing it.
yeah, I
You
seriously
think he'll
doubt
be able
that.
to handle losing to Ohio State every year? No, he won't be able to.
Oh, no, no,
At
no,
least
no.
with USC, you can survive losing to Notre Dame, but
Right.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's different over there.
That's different. Yeah. But at the same time, he wanted to worry about being left at the tarmac. You lose to Ohio State, you just hitchhike home. So, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna take the job. I really have no idea. I just
I
hope
know.
it's who?
I think you guys should send a plane for DeBoer. Alabama don't appreciate this dude. Come on. And he's used to the cold weather. He's a good coach. He knows how to recruit. I mean, think about it, man. He stepped in after Saban, for God's sakes, and look where Alabama's
Yeah,
at right now.
yeah.
You know?
And to be honest with you, it might be a smoother transition because at least he's not following the legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Jerome Moore did that. So now he's the guy after the guy. So it works. And as long as he's
Yeah.
a quarterback developer, that's my biggest thing right now. And it's one of my biggest things this whole season with Jerome Moore and Bryce Underwood. It's like you did not develop the quarterback, bro. You've got to do that. And I just hope that's one of the key things that the Board of Regents take into consideration of whoever they decide. I haven't heard John Gruden. I don't know about that. I don't
I
know
heard
about that.
Brian
Like,
Kelly on the radio today, home.
oh hell
That-
no! Oh
Yeah, that would
no.
be a great
No,
fit.
no,
Like,
fuck that.
what?
Oh
Bro,
my
I'm being
god.
serious. I forgot who said it, but it was on the radio. Maybe it was Chris Canty or some. I forget what it was,
Man, somebody
but it
suggested
said
it.
that. No, it said that would be one of the names. I mean, who are you gonna? They were like, who are you gonna go after? And then listed
Child,
these names,
please.
and Brian Kelly was one of them.
Child, please. Let me tell you
Well,
something.
for one, we know that that's not going to happen, because Brian Kelly, he's sitting back collecting that nice,
Yeah.
nasty little paycheck
Yeah.
and not doing shit, so
That guy.
there's no way he's going to actually take a job and possibly take a pay cut. I mean, he's that big of a dick,
Let me tell you
Now,
something, man.
I
I
did
can't
hear
stand him.
the rumor about Gruden, though. There
Yeah,
was a little bit
I've
of
heard
chatter
that.
about that.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
I mean, I don't know. He just hasn't been the best developer of quarterbacks either. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. Um, I will say this on the Brian Kelly note. That might be the one move that made me have to drop my fandom. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I'm not
You gonna
playing.
get you a
Wow.
side piece until he's fired?
I'll be. Hey, you know what? If players can hit the transfer portal, fans can hit the transfer portal. If Michigan decided to bring in Brian Kelly, oh no, for as long as he's employed for Michigan, nah, not gonna be able
Yeah.
to do it.
So
Basketball
you
team, no problem.
does that mean
Baseball,
you're going to put on a different
no,
blue
dude,
and gold
nope,
type
nope,
uniform?
nope,
Or, no?
nope, no,
He's
no,
he's just gonna have a
no,
side piece until they fire him.
no.
And then
I
once they
won't have a
fire him,
side
he'll
piece
come
either.
back.
Nope. I won't have a side piece either because it's still F Ohio State all the way around. That still counts. Okay. Notre Dame, yeah, you're still toilet paper to me. And yeah, and SEC, no, I will not carry your flag either. So I'll just be a free agent. I'll
Go
just enjoy college
Indiana.
football.
Have a side.
No,
Let Indiana be your side piece.
no,
If that was the case.
no, no, no. No.
Side piece bullshit. Oh my god.
Listen, man, there's nothing
Makes
like
my skin
heartbreak. I'm
crawl, I
telling you,
swear to
bro.
God.
Heartbreak makes you evaluate your decisions. When you're hurting and you in pain because of what your main piece decides to do.
Man.
Yeah. And
Okay,
if
so
main piece, who's the Michigan in this case, hires Brian Kelly.
Man.
okay, now
That's
that's
a
bad.
bridge too
That's
far,
bad.
dog.
But you gotta
I
hand
can't.
it to Hader, though. I mean, he's actually held on to Detroit. And you want to talk about, horrible teams in the past, I
That's
mean,
true. That's
I
true.
mean, he's held on to them for, so ain't nobody, and then you got Monster, holding on to Cleveland. I
Mhm.
mean, so anybody that's a Cleveland fan today that actually can, you could trace their fandom back years and years and years ago. Hey, man, you got my respect. I
Yeah.
mean, your team has sucked for the longest time, and you're still a fan. So,
Yeah.
so so I'm just gonna say this: your side piece, I think, is bullshit. But whatever.
Oh, let me ask you this then, Hater. So now that the Lions are really good, they're winning, right? Let's
Mhm.
say now that the daughter's in charge. Let's say she decides to move the team to San Diego. So now they're the San Diego Lions. You mean to tell me you wouldn't be heartbroken and pissed off that happened?
All right, now that's a good point. Okay, so yeah,
That's what happened
uh,
to me.
I see where you're going with that. And yeah, that is a valid point.
Um,
Because if Denver actually up and moved to, I don't know, San
Let's say San
Antonio
Diego. Yeah, because they left
yeah,
San Diego. The Chargers left San Diego, so
or
San Diego
even
was looking
San
for another team
Diego, well, then I'm looking towards Houston at that point. I mean,
I,
until they come
I,
back home, right? But then if they get
yeah,
smart enough, and then the Broncos decide to come back to Denver, come on, man, you got to go back. You know
well,
what I mean?
it
I,
just breaks your heart, though.
Yeah,
Okay, you make a good point. You make a good point.
but it's still shitty though. I know. It's still fuck that side
It's a
piece. I know.
horrible fucking thing. You never want that, from a fan or anything. But
What
well,
about you, Hater? I mean, what do you think?
I'll say this: if that happened, if I went through 40 plus years of my life being a fan of this team, and then they decided to pick up chalk and leave before we won a Super Bowl, and they decided to pull some stuff like that. Wow, I got a
you
lot of
hurt.
man. I got a lot of Detroit stuff in here. Whew.
It's like
Yo,
a
man.
decorator's old house.
It's a
Yo,
hell of a
I
lot
did-
to be fair.
Yo, man. Yo, man. Like I got a lot of stuff in here, man. I had to clear everything out, bro.
It's a good
Okay,
thing you
I-
didn't name
your
your
Raiders,
dog after
they actually
Detroit.
went
You
from-
get rid of your dog.
Your Raiders went from Oakland to Las Vegas and back to
No.
Oakland and
No.
then
Oh,
down
no.
to
LA.
It goes before
Or,
that.
excuse-
So
excuse
they
me,
went
they
LA,
went
Oakland,
to LA.
back to
yeah.
LA, back to
Oakland,
Oakland.
LA, back to Oakland, then to Vegas.
Yeah.
But how they did it though
But
when they came to
still
LA.
stayed in- okay, so when they actually
Oh,
moved
no,
down
hold
to
on.
Nevada,
I'll
you know,
explain
I
it
mean,
to you. I'll explain it to you because what they did is the exact same thing that they did in San Antonio. Remember, the Raiders were talking about they're going to move to San Antonio
yeah,
and
they fucked them. Yeah, it was
big time. And so Los Angeles was like, look, we'll give you all this. We'll pay for all this. We already have this all planned up. And they led us to believe, Al Davis led us to believe that was going to happen. And then he got some sort of tax cut from Oakland or whatever and moved him back there. Like left us at the last hour. And so that broke all of Los Angeles' heart. So all of Los Angeles, most of them were Raiders fans at that time, said, F you. And again, this is years ago. So I was a kid.
I remember all too well because I remember also thinking, and this might actually surprise you, Raider, that if the Raiders would have actually come to San Antonio, I would have probably been a season ticket holder.
Yeah, you want to support your city, man. You want to support your city.
No, fuck that. No, I would have actually been wearing the opposite jersey of
Sure.
every single team that they're playing. But at the
Sure.
same time, it's an NFL event.
Yeah, dude.
These things are spectacular. Why would you not want to go to one of those games? I mean,
Right.
especially if it's in your own city. And how the fuck does that happen that San Antonio doesn't have a pro football team anyway?
Jerry Jones.
It's well, of course, we know that he's actually has his. I'm sorry, I should say that. But anyway, this sir actually does. He's fucked up everything as far as anything coming from San Antonio, and it's weird, because it's what, the sixth biggest city in the entire United States,
In like the third fastest or the second fastest growing city
Yeah,
too, or something like that.
and we can't get a fucking pro football team. That just makes my ass itch. I'm serious.
Dude, San Antonio knows how to support their teams. Like, look at the spring football league. Like the
Oh, yeah.
Brahmas, they were selling out every game.
Absolutely.
Every game.
Yes.
So, but see, yeah, so that's what happened, man. Like they basically pimped us to get a little bit better. And it wasn't even an all the way better deal. Going back to Oakland. But I understand the people from Oakland, right? They were heartbroken as well when they came to Los Angeles. So they just returned home. I understand that. But the way that it happened, the way that it did, and I used to go out there, and again, I've told everybody this. I used to watch their practices because they would come to my school and practice, and I would look. They had this black mesh all the way around where you couldn't see. So I'd go up there and put my face against this and watch. And man, I just it was awesome.
It's
So
awesome. Okay, so here's the thing. Honestly, Raider, if I didn't hate the Raiders so much, I'd almost feel sorry for them. Because here's a team that actually saw their team in Oakland, and then they actually went to LA, and then they came back to Oakland for what? How many years? 4 or 5 years? 6, 7 years? Something like that? Only to move over to Vegas. I mean, talk about pimped out. Oh my God.
yeah, no, they were in Oakland for decades before that, but yeah.
Yeah. Before that, when it was Al Davis's franchise and stuff like that, but I mean, if you're an Oakland fan, how could you possibly root for the Raiders? If you're from Oakland, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I feel for them and I understand. And that's what I always try to make the case to everybody's like, what if your favorite sports team decides to just bounce?
Yeah,
It's like,
look at what happened with Cleveland.
oh yeah, yeah,
When they actually
Ravens.
made the move to Baltimore.
Yeah.
The night of. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did it in the cover under darkness, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were cold blooded for that too.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But see,
That's
but then that just shows you how awesome a fan base that is, though, because they still got Browns. They created another franchise, got the Browns established there. And
Yep.
here we are in San Antonio, one of the top premier cities in the world, and we can't get a fucking team.
Yeah. I agree. It sucks, man, but here we are. Cash cow, man, waiting for it, but Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I think we should label this last segment called side pieces.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yep.
Agree.
Unnecessary and stupid.
Yep.
You know?
Especially when they don't know their place.